Hello, 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 hello. Happy to be here with you on Wednesday night. I think today is the 16th. Let's check and see. The 16th of January. We'll wait just about 30 seconds and give everybody a chance to join us. I hope you are enjoying your brand new 2019 year. As I have said many times, we're going to take the month of January and we're going to establish our whole goal right now in January is to create the environment. We're going to build on last week's message. We're going to create the environment so that you can actually sustain the entire year 2019. While so many people are already focused on setting their goals and attacking their goals and basically coming from a position of desperation instead of preparation, there are already so many people that have given up on their goals for 2019 or will sometime in the early parts of February. So I'm trying to do something, I am doing something very different in the hopes that we will have better results for the majority of you. So we're taking the entire month of January to prepare. As we've talked about over the previous, 5 or 6 weeks now, we talked at length about limiting beliefs. We talked at length about leaving the past in the past, learning from the lessons that we took from it, the experiences that we had, staying present and refusing to get caught up in the anxiety of future events that have not yet occurred. I could go on and on telling you personal stories of people in my life that sabotage their present day because of the unnatural anxiety over future events that have not yet occurred, and that's what we call self-sabotage. But I'm not gonna bore you with that. Instead, I'm gonna say that right now we're gonna build on the message that we talked about last Wednesday. And if you didn't watch it, I'm going to encourage you to go back and watch it. But as promised, I'm going to stay with my notes because I really have put a lot of time into creating this. And again, the message for all of us that I hope that you'll take away is just like the person whose goal is to have a thriving, productive garden with fresh vegetables coming literally every day and every week. It doesn't happen by accident. A lot of time and effort went into preparation. And to kind of sum up the message from last week, too many people simply choose to start. So if you were going to have a garden and your goal was, I want to have a thriving, productive garden, okay, that's the I want person. You'll go out and you'll, with good intentions, buy all the tools necessary to prepare the garden, and you'll go out there and you'll buy the seeds necessary for the plants and the vegetables that you want to grow. But the reality is, you buy them, you plant the seeds, and then you lack your motivation to see it all the way through. And that is how most people, not all, but it's how most people treat all of their goals, all of their dreams, all of their intentions, and then they wonder, why didn't it work out? Why did it fail? So we're going to treat it differently. We're going to say, no, we're going to cultivate. We're going to go out there and we're going to buy all the tools, and then we're going to spend a lot of time preparing the soil. And then we're going to plant the seeds, and then we're going to tend to the garden. We're going to make sure that every single day, if you're taking notes, here it is. Consistent daily efforts. Consistent daily efforts. Every day, we're going to make sure we water the soil, because there might not even be plants yet, but we're going to water it. We're going to make sure it's getting the adequate sunlight, and we're going to make sure that there are no predators digging up the seeds or attacking the plants as they grow. If we don't follow through with daily consistent effort, there's no chance. I'm not going to call you a failure. I'm going to say there is no chance for success. So here's what you have: a perpetual struggle and a perpetual depression because you feel frustrated that nothing has gotten better. And the reality is you were just one little piece away. So, what is the most important thing we have to do? Prepare. We have to prepare ourselves. And the second most important thing we have to do is commit to daily, consistent efforts. If you'll prepare yourself physically and mentally, and then you will deliver a daily, consistent effort, you can't lose. No chance at all of failing. Now, what are some of the things that will help us? A healthy mindset. Again, that's why I say stay out of the past and don't jump into the future, because we must, 100%, we must be fair and honest with ourselves. And a lot of the times, I won't say again everybody, but the majority of people, we put unrealistic expectations on ourselves because we're comparing ourselves to other people. I won't bore you with all the cliches, but we've seen other people do this or other people get that. And so we make the effort, and we make that daily consistent effort for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, and then we beat ourselves up because we don't have what they have, or we have not achieved what they've achieved. And the difference is they've been doing it for 7 years. You've been doing it for 3 weeks. But we're unrealistic with our goals. So, in no specific order, what I'd like you to do is, if you have not done it from this past week till today, write down the things that you are moved by. So, what is it that you would consider to be a core passion, a core value, a very strong reason why you're doing things? Don't write down what you want, because what you want doesn't matter. When people say, I want this, it doesn't mean anything. But what is it that you are willing to invest your time into? What is it you are willing to commit your time and effort into? What is it that moves you? See, for me, it's easy. A good friend of mine who happens to be on here, Michael Singleton, asked the question of a small group. And the question was, if you didn't need any money, if money was no longer an issue in your life, what would you do? What are you passionate about? And it's funny because we talk about it, but following through is a bit different. And so truly, if money wasn't an issue, if truly tomorrow money was no longer an issue in your life, what would you do? See, for me, it was easy. I thought my entire life, it's really been one direction. I have always enjoyed teaching, helping, assisting, guiding people who were on the path and for some reason struggling. And I go back to all of my careers. When I was in high school and in college, I was a lifeguard. But as a lifeguard, one of the things that I enjoyed was teaching little kids to swim. I taught kiddie swim lessons. I even did it back when I was in my 40s when my son was born, because I enjoyed taking him to the pool and getting him used to the water and teaching him how to swim. And so I ended up working at one of the schools, not with the teenagers, with the little 4 and 5-year-olds. And so for me, I realized I've always enjoyed that. Fast forward into my career for the past 25, 26, 27 years. I have been filled with the satisfaction or the joy to help other people who have started and struggled in home-based business, which means I don't go out there telling people they should start a home-based business. But when I come across people that truly were seeking success, they were working hard to get ahead and to make that extra money and to become financially free, I gravitated towards helping those people, because I'm not about telling you what to do, but if you've decided what you want to do, but you haven't figured it out, and I can help you, that brings me joy. So that's been my whole life, whether it was as a lifeguard teaching swim lessons, or now as an adult teaching people business skills, not necessarily sales skills, but business skills, people skills, how to successfully start, run, and succeed in a home-based business. And it's translated into, many other areas of my life. As many of you know, the past probably, 2.5 to 3.5 years now, it's had nothing to do with business, but helping people to find their own path to social awareness and spiritual awakening. Because again, it was something that was huge for me, and I gained a tremendous amount of assistance from people that had already walked the path. So that is, for me, a real simple answer. If money wasn't an issue, what would I do? I would find people who were seeking and searching and looking for that assistance to navigate an obstacle or a challenge. So I don't know what it is for you, but that's what it is for me, and it's why I enjoy what I do. And as a side note on that, I'm excited because I, through no accident, and I don't believe in coincidences, over the past couple of weeks met an individual who is one of the most inspirational stories you will ever hear. I'm not sure if he's watching tonight, but if he is, David, I'm talking about you, and I will be introducing him to all of you later this week or over the weekend, because it is possibly one of the most inspirational stories I have ever heard. And this is an individual who has been walking his own path. He's going along his own journey. And what he has accomplished between the ages of 18 and I believe he's 48. So over the last couple of decades, 18 to 28, he did some magical things. 28 to 48, you wouldn't believe it. But it's a powerful story of an individual who had some goals, set his intentions, and then navigated the journey. And when I tell you, overcame ridiculous obstacles and challenges, that's why I'm so excited to introduce him to you. And the cool thing is, he's got a story that he wants to share, and it's a story that's going to help all of you more than it will ever help him. And I'm excited about that. And the second person that I'm very excited to introduce to all of you is one of our regular guests here every Wednesday night. Won't say his last name, but George, I really mean it. I want to get together with you because you also have an amazing story that I can't wait for you to share with people, because that's what it's all about right now. We're still in January, so we're still in that magic of setting your goals and following through on your resolutions. But I want to give you some stories of people who actually navigated the storm, who actually set goals, set intentions, went out there and said, this is where I want to go. I'm not happy here, but I'm happy with me. And so I'm going to make the decisions to make the improvements to get me there. And these are two individuals that did it in an incredible way. And if I can find a way to wrestle this giant bear, James, I'm talking about you, I'd like to include him in that story, because it's important for all of us to hear the success stories, to actually see and hear from the people who said, yeah, life can suck sometimes, and it sure as hell can be painful, and it can be challenging, but it doesn't mean it cannot be navigated, and it certainly doesn't mean that you're going to be stopped or prevented from going from where you are to where you want to go. So I'm really excited to introduce a couple of just tremendous success stories to all of you, and we're going to do that over the next couple of weeks based upon their schedule. But back to working on you. So, what did we say? What is it that you are passionate about? I gave you mine. I talked for a long time. I'm not asking you to put yours in. If you want to, great. But you've got to know what it is that you're passionate about. You've got to know what it is that will move you. You've got to know what it is that defines you. And then once you know those things, you'll never run out of motivation, because the motivation has to come from within. But the reason why most people fail to ever get or to remain motivated and to sustain that consistency It's because they're blowing in the wind. They've never truly went out there, and Miss Etta Jones would love to have a story from you. One of the amazing single mothers out there that has been nothing more than truly amazing. So I thank you for posting that. But what I want everybody to understand is that motivation comes from within once we get focused on what we're really passionate about. But see, if we don't ever get passionate about anything, it's impossible to stay focused and motivated. And that's why instead people go from event to event, from thought to thought, from goal to goal, without ever achieving anything, because our attention span is not strong enough. Our attention span is like that. I'll never name names, but I have a lot of friends who could easily be nicknamed Squirrel because their brain literally goes like that. They focus on nothing. And it's not a bad thing, it's just who they are, but it's why they spin their wheels a lot of times. So for me, figuring out what it is that you're passionate about is more important than anything else, because then you can sustain that daily consistent activity. So let's talk about some things that will help you to get there. I mentioned this last week, but it's worth mentioning again. Embrace the unknown and 100% embrace the concept of change. That is one of the first things that paralyzes most people. The fear of change. Now, here's the irony of it. We all want things to be different, but we're afraid of the process of change because it's unknown. You know, one of the jokes is everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Figure that out. Change is a part of the process. So when you make the decision not to accept it, but to embrace it, embrace change, and embrace the unknown, all of a sudden that fear dissolves and you realize it's an illusion. Again, forget about what you want and change the language. Change your thoughts and your words to the following. In order to have, or in order to accomplish, please write this down. In order to have, or in order to accomplish, fill in the blank, ... What am I willing to do? What am I willing to do? If your goal is to get in shape physically, whether it's to lose 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 pounds and get in shape, don't say I want to get in shape. Say, in order to be in better shape, I am willing to throw away junk food. I am willing to give up alcohol. I am willing to stop eating and fill in the blank. It's much easier when you put it in the perspective of, in order to have or accomplish whatever it is that you say you want, I am willing to. Here's the next one. How much time are you willing to commit and to invest on a daily basis? See, many of you will say to me, geez, John, you're really committed to the gym. I guess that I am. I have 2 herniated discs in my back. I have chronic back pain since the age of 15 from a football injury. Do you know when my back doesn't hurt? When I'm on the exercise bike riding. So, it's pretty easy for me when I don't want to go to the gym and I don't feel like working out to say to myself, I feel way better riding that bike, and I feel better after riding the bike than I do by not. So for me, it's easier to look at what am I willing to commit to? I'm willing to commit to an hour to 2 hours every day at the gym, working out to improve my physical health. You'll never hear me say, I want to go to the gym, because I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym. I want the results of the gym. I want to feel better. So the question is, what are you willing to do, John? I'm willing to carve out time. How many of you have seen me post from Planet Fitness at 1 or 2 in the morning because I didn't get any time throughout the entire day to work out because of a work schedule or because of my son or because of a family emergency or whatever, and I have the choice, go to bed, go to the gym. If Planet Fitness is open 24 hours, that kind of takes the excuse, I can't, away. I work from home. I work on my own schedule. I can sleep in late if I don't have any appointments scheduled in the morning. So I'm trying to help you understand none of this is easy, but all of it is simple. All of it is possible when we change our thoughts and therefore change our words and our actions. What is unacceptable to me? What is no longer acceptable? This is a tough one. This is a tough one for me because I believe in people. Without going into detail, I went through this one over the past week because I have a friend, actually it's an ex-girlfriend, that I've tried my hardest to understand and to meet her where she's at, so that over the course of almost a year and a half, anytime she would reach out to me, I would forgive all the nonsense. I would say, yes, let's get together. We'd sit, we'd talk. Sometimes we'd have dinner. I would do everything I could to help her to navigate her own journey. I'll say it in a very polite way. Navigate her own journey. She has her own demons. She has her own challenges. She has her own issues. And because I'm no longer affected by that, I can look at her for who she is and try my best, okay, to help her. But here's the problem. There's certain behavior that's not acceptable to me anymore. And so I have to draw the line. This goes back to that healthy boundary conversation that we've had so many times, where healthy boundaries are stopping behavior that is no longer healthy for you. So it's not about attacking other people. It's not about doing harm to other people. It's not about infringing other people's rights, but it is about protecting yours. So for me, I still am challenged with the what is unacceptable. I know it's not acceptable. I know the history shows me that no matter how nice this person is, there is a point where they self-sabotage. It's all in their head. And then when it's in their head, they project it out on me and everyone else around them, and it becomes just a negative experience. But to help you, I'm sharing from my own personal experience so that nobody can sit here and say, oh, he thinks he's perfect. Decide what is unacceptable for you, because this is what it does for me. When that behavior slides, I'm able to say, hey, this is no longer acceptable. Stop it now. And if it doesn't stop, I'm able to walk away. And I will tell you that over the course of about 15 or 16 months, I was able to walk away probably close to 40 or 50 times. Not angry. Walk away knowing this is not healthy for me. So when it comes to the changes that you want to make in your life, decide what is and what is no longer acceptable. If you're trying to eat healthier or improve your health, to feel better, to look better, to be more fit, think about the word inflammation, because there's an awful lot of foods that we eat that cause inflammation in our body. And the irony of it is people ignore it. Like they'll say, oh, that food doesn't agree with me. Then why are you still eating it? Or whenever I eat this, I get, indigestion, or my joints all get, inflamed, and it causes my arthritis to flare up. Well, why are you eating it? So it's so simple to make those choices, but what means more to you? The pizza or whatever the food is, or the negative feeling that you experience after consuming it? When you look in the mirror, again, people will talk about all the time, I want to lose weight, I want to lose, I hate my clothes don't fit right, I don't look good. Well, look in the mirror, really invest the time. Look in the mirror at the way you look, and if you're truly not happy, love yourself, but decide this is no longer acceptable and have that mental picture, because what will happen is at that stage, you'll be able to say no to donuts or no to ice cream or no to pizza or whatever it is that you're struggling with. If the desire for your clothes to fit better is greater than your desire to go eat donuts, then it becomes simple. But the point is, we choose what we allow to be important and what we don't. So again, these are not criticisms, these are not judgments. These are simple statements to help you find your own way. But what is no longer acceptable to me, it's what saves me from getting back involved in an unhealthy relationship. And by the way, that is the most challenging thing for many of us, because we care about people. Sometimes we even still love them as people, but they're not healthy for us. And until we put our own self-care first, we never get out of it. So it's a real situation, but it can be applied to food. It can be applied to relationships. It can be applied to succeeding in business. Here's another perfect example. I used to, over the years, have people tell me, I want to be successful. I want to make a lot of money. I want. And then they would tell me, but I can't do this because Tommy has a soccer game, and Julie plays piano, and Sam plays in the whatever choir. And so the three reasons, which are their children, that they want to have the time freedom to be successful are the very reasons that they never get anything accomplished. They either never attend enough training to prepare to be successful, or they never remain consistent enough on a daily basis to make money and be financially free. So again, it's real simple. What is it that is unacceptable to you? And when that becomes strong enough, you'll start doing the things that remove that from your life, leaving you with peaceful, happiness, time freedom. I kind of already hit this one. What obstacle must be removed in order for you to achieve your goals, in order for you to have the things that you claim to want? Don't talk about you wanting them. What obstacle must be removed from your life? And this is a powerful one, because the obstacle could be physical or mental. And I'm going to end with a story that shows you a mental obstacle. How will this, whatever it is that you say you want, how will this improve my life? Or what pain and frustration will it remove from my life? So again, not I want. Forget what you want. But whatever it is that you claim to want, what benefit will it bring to your life? Or what pain and frustration will it remove from your life? If you can look at it in those terms, it's amazing how different your focus can be. Now, I've given you a whole lot of stuff here. Let me end with a story to tie it all together. Now, I've shared this story in the past, but not recently. So the story is a high school discus thrower named Tony. And Tony was a senior. Tony had been on the track and field team all 4 years. And Tony was committed. He was the best discus thrower and one of the best athletes on the track team. And he begged the coach towards the end of the season. It was about a month away from the state finals. And Tony really wanted to get the gold. He wanted a medal. So he said to the coach, I've done everything I can. Will you please help me? Help me to win the state title. So the coach said, of course, how could I not? And the coach put the time in, and over the next week to 10 days, nothing was changing. Tony was training. Tony was putting in all of the effort, but every single day when they would train and he would throw, he wasn't gaining anything. He wasn't improving enough that he was going to make a dent. So the coach made a really radical decision. And here's what the coach decided to do. He said, we've got about 2 weeks left between now and the national tournament, the national state meet, not the national, the state meet. And I got to give this kid his best shot. But somehow he's caught in his own mind. His belief system is not allowing him to improve. So he decided to keep the training exactly the same, to keep working in the gym and to keep working out in the field. But the one thing he was going to change was the way he was measuring the results. So here's what happened. Every day, this is now in weeks 3 and 4 leading up to the state meet, he would have Tony train, work out, do all of his strength conditioning, and then when it was time to throw, he would have him throw a bunch of discs, and then he would go get them all, bring them back and say, I want you to give me your 3 best throws. So after gathering all the discs back, he would throw, and after the 3rd one, he would hand Tony the tape, and he would give Tony one end of the tape that said 0. And he would tell Tony to run all the way out, and when he got to the discs, stop. And now here's where the coach will say decided to cross a line in some perspectives, but he began to give false readings to Tony, giving him the impression that he was throwing the discus further than he actually was. So let's say he was throwing it, 230 feet. All of a sudden on that next day, it was 235. And then it was a 239. And so each day for the next 2 weeks, the coach was fudging the numbers and getting Tony mentally into the distance that would give him the chance to qualify for the state title. Now, those 2 weeks go by and they get to the event, and now they're at the state meet and Tony's throwing. And the crazy thing is, this was a true story. I changed the name, it's not Tony, but Tony goes out there and he's all amped up on adrenaline because he's at the state meet, and he's talking to the coach, and the coach is saying to him, you've made huge progress every single day for the last 2 weeks. You're now in this. You've got a shot at it. Go out there, focus, harness all of your power, and let it rip. And the crazy thing was, over the course of the 2-day state tournament, Tony not only won the state title, but he improved his own personal best by over 40 feet. Now, the whole thing happens. The event's over. He's got the gold medal. He won the state title. He's excited, and the coach pulls him aside. And he said, I don't know how to explain this to you, but I need to come clean because something inside of you was holding you back. And Tony didn't understand what he was talking about. And he told him. He said, the last 2 weeks of our training, do you remember when I would hand you the tape and tell you to run out there? He said, yep. He said, I always gave you the end of the tape that was at 0. And every time you got out there, you were in the same 5 to 10 foot range of every throw you made for the entire year. He said, but I lied to you and I made you think that you were getting stronger, and I made you think that you were throwing it further. And Tony began to get upset. And the coach said, and something happened over those 2 weeks. Even though nothing was physically changing, it was the same physical conditioning and training, it was the same training out on the field, something happened. And when you got here, you unleashed inside of your mind strength that you couldn't summon any other way. And he said, so I want you to walk away knowing that you were always that good, but for some reason, you weren't allowing yourself to your fullest potential. And Tony got angry and he started to yell at the coach, and he said, how could you possibly have lied to me? I trusted you. You're my coach. I was 100% honest and authentic and vulnerable with you, and you took advantage of me and you lied to me. And the coach looked him dead in the eye. He said, I never lied to you. You've been lying to yourself your whole life and holding yourself back instead of reaching your fullest potential. For whatever reason, you didn't have enough self-worth or enough belief in yourself or enough whatever. And so, yeah, I lied to you, I misled you, and I released it. And now I'm coming clean and I'm telling you, whatever it is, those limiting beliefs, get rid of them. And the moral of that story is we all, every one of us, myself included, have unlimited potential, limited only by our own belief system, limited only by what we believe we deserve, limited only by what we believe we can accomplish. So I will sum up tonight's message by saying, surround yourself with people that bring out the best in you. And if you have not yet found those people, be sure to remove yourself from those that hold you back. Remove yourself from the people who don't really want to see you succeed. If you actually read my posts every day, I have been doing my best since January 1st to put into your head that you are already good enough, that you are capable of anything that you want if you truly go after it, if you are truly willing to believe in yourself and to commit your mental and your physical efforts, which means your thoughts, your words, and your actions towards whatever that goal is. So I hope tonight's message made a difference. Please comment. Please share this. I'd love nothing more than to create hundreds of amazing success stories, but I'm going to start with David, George, and if possible, I'm going to wrestle the grizzly bear, Big James. Until next Wednesday. Actually, it really won't be until next Wednesday because I'm going to be bringing these stories to you at random times during the course of each week. So until the next time I see you, this is John Costino saying thanks for being here. Good night. God bless. And watch the posts. I'll keep you updated on a daily basis as soon as I lock down when and where I'll be popping up with these incredible personal success stories. Good night, everyone.